people's cinema-going habits nowadays. Do you think the cinema has increased or decreased in popularity in recent years? I believe that the popularity of cinema has increased in the past few years. It can be seen from the number of movie theaters that have been built in many big cities. It means that the demand of cinema has increased and more business people are investing on the building the cinema halls. Apart from that, more television channels are showing movies daily and the numbers of movie viewers are increasing day by day. The globalization and easy access to foreign films made it possible for people to watch movies that were produced and released on the other side of the planet. In your opinion, will this trend continue into the future? Yes, I do believe that it will grow more in the future. It is because that we are living in the modern world where we have more opportunity to view the variety genres of movies from different countries. The working hours have become longer and the works are more stressful these days. This means that people need more entertainment to loosen their tense, and one of them is by going to the cinema. Movies are becoming more popular among the teenagers, and because of the variety of movies, people would go to watch movies more. Making a film or TV drama of real/fictional events. What are the advantages and disadvantages of making films of real-life events? The advantages of making films based on a real-life event are that we could learn many things from such films. For example, when we make a film based on a true story of World War I or II, we can learn about the cruelties of war, therefore we should avoid any kind of wars and support the world peace. The real event movies are more important in terms of underlining story, lesson, historical figures and facts. This type of film reveals the past among us and creates a lasting impression on the viewers. However, among the drawbacks of such films, we can say that it is not easy to produce such movies that would be based on true facts and entertaining at the same time. Producers often need to put extra emphasis on choosing casts, costumes and locations to make such movies. Such films might be biased sometimes and would spark a flame of criticisms. Then there is a chance that it won't be able to attract all types of movie viewers and that the box office hits of such movies are often uncertain. How important do you think it is for a filmmaker to remain true to the original story? Well, I think it depends on how the director wants to convey the message of the film. If his purpose is to show history, then I believe that it should stick to the original story. Meanwhile, if the aim of the films is for popularity or entertainment, then the director could develop the story. Sometimes many books are converted to films, and in such cases, the filmmakers often change the dialogues and story of the original one. If the story is a fictitious one, I think the filmmakers should change a bit to make the movie more attractive. However, if the story is based on a prominent historical event or person, then they should remain as much authentic and true as possible to the original event or character. Censorship and the freedom of the filmmaker/TV producer. Should films and television be censored, or should we be free to choose what we see? In my opinion, I think films and TV programs should be censored, since they might contain some inappropriate scenes which could be embarrassing for the whole family. The amount of violence, blood scene, drug abuse and slangs used on TV programs and movies should also be censored, as it might not be appropriate for people of all ages. Many films show adults or violence scenes these days, and they should be censored, since it could have negative effects on people, especially on the children's imagination. How do you think censorship laws will change in the next 20 years? Well, even though I support censorship, but I think it will be loosened in the future because people would be able to access films from many sources, including the internet these days. For example, children will be able to download films in their tablet PCs and watch films that they like. Therefore, it is important for us to monitor our children's gadget these days, to ensure that they watch appropriate films. The trends of movie censorship reveal the fact that movies are not censored as strictly as they used to be in the past. The freedom of creative arts will also be a dominating factor for the loose censorship of movies. Compare reading a newspaper and a magazine. A newspaper, as its name suggests, includes all kinds of news and recent events and editorials. For example, by reading the daily newspaper, we can get all information happened yesterday and in the week, sometimes even today's event. While magazines, on the other hand, are more likely to focus on certain areas, such as geography, sports, short story, significant recent events, etc. For instance, the magazine Hello includes lots of news about celebrities. People who like stars like Beyoncé or Victoria can get special information from it. Finally, newspapers are targeted for all the people, while magazine targets people with a special attraction to a certain niche or field. For instance, a newspaper might include an interesting news about a successful genetic engineering experiment that has grabbed a considerable attention on people recently, with other regular and diverse type of news. On the other hand, a magazine which is based on genetic engineering is aimed to target professionals and students of this field and would cover most of its articles on this subject. How do people read them? Do they just read the headlines or the entire story? It depends. Most of the people prefer to read the headlines first. If a headline attracts their attention, they prefer to read the whole story afterwards. For some certain people, it is true that they are the fan of some newspapers or magazines and they are likely to read all of them. Again, in case of newspapers, people read the headlines and often skim through the news. Magazine readers prefer mostly to read the details article. Why do people read magazines? Like I said earlier, people read magazines to seek certain information. People read Hello and US Weekly to get gossip and fashion news of celebrities. Geography and Nutrients are the magazines that offer the knowledge in special areas. Many professionals and students prefer to read magazines as those often come with special news, in-depth articles and research papers related to their profession and study. Is reading the newspaper popular in your country? Yes, newspaper reading among people is quite popular actually. Evening papers are the most popular newspapers in my country. We get to know news from it every day. For example, the new policy issued by the government, and the construction of the train could be learned from such daily newspapers. What are the other sources of news? Do people from the rural areas have the same access to these sources as people from the urban areas? People can obtain news by watching TV and using the internet. These are also the population ways to get news. I believe so. In our modern society, even newspaper and magazine are popular. Watching TV and the internet become the most important and convenient ways for people no matter where they are living. What are the advantages of the internet? When people read a newspaper or a magazine, they can't choose what kind of information exactly they are willing to read. For example, it is hard to chase a piece of information about how a special medical technique developed in this month by reading them. But it works with the internet. People can simply put keywords in Google search and get the results in 1 second. It is easier and more convenient. Again, it's not possible to purchase all the newspapers and magazines from a store. On the contrary, you can read as many newspapers, magazines and other news sources from the internet. With the popularity of social media like Twitter and Facebook, the news is being shared and read by people without even searching for them. So I would say the advantages of the internet as a whole and in terms of communication and news source is unparalleled. Are there any disadvantages? Of course, it has. Every coin has two sides. The disadvantage of using the internet is that there are too many results and we have to choose which one to read that contains more useful information. The other disadvantage is that it is not very healthy to sit in front of laptop or computer for a long time. Finally, the news sources are not always authentic and one can often get biased and false news from the internet. Describe the impact of the internet on the lives of the students. It depends. For high school students, I think the negative impact overtake the positive parts. They are more likely to be attracted by internet games, instead of learning things. They would spend too much time chatting and playing games than reading interesting articles. The college students can control them better than high school students. The internet is a useful tool for them. The internet can offer them information to help them find the reference materials, especially for their dissertations and assignments. For younger students like primary and secondary students, I think they should not use the internet at all. It is obvious that they will hurt their eyes and might find unsuitable content which is detrimental to their physical and psychological growth. Overall, students are relying on the internet heavily than the past generation. They find study materials, they submit their homework, find references from the internet, and that has many positive sides in terms of their interaction with the teachers and classmates. Do you recommend that all countries adopt the latest trends in technology? I don't think so. Whether the latest trends in technology should be used or not depends on the development of the country. For example, when the technique of mitochondrial donation was published early this year, it was impossible for some developing countries to adopt this. It is not only because the money spent on this technique is expensive, but also the condition of technique in the country. Maybe America can use this one quickly, but for some countries, they can't even think about this when many people are living in poverty. However, the widely accepted technologies like online learning should be adopted by all countries for the sake of advancement. What kind of children activities are there available in your city? Children in our city often play outdoor games, though this trend is changing day by day with the advancement of computing and gaming devices. Children can visit the museum, zoological garden, and amusement parks in my city. They often go to exhibitions from schools which they enjoy a lot. Many parents take their children to their relative or friends' houses where they play and make friends with other kids. They are also allowed to watch cartoons and other programs suitable for them. What do you need to do to interest a child in such activities? We need to show our own engagement in an activity to show a child that this is particularly enjoyable and exciting. A child would easily engage in an interesting game if he notices that the adults are playing it. For creative activities like drawing, dancing, singing, we need to inspire the child and appreciate his/her talent. We need to give them the positive environment as well as making the activity fun to attract them. For visiting educative places like the zoological garden and museum, we need to take them the places and explain their significance. Finally, a child is naturally fond of TV programs like the cartoon. What activities do you think there will be in the future? As the technology is advancing rapidly and is becoming more popular among the children, I think computer games, internet and TV programs would become more popular among children in the future. The schools are evolving from merely educational institutions to more entertaining and interactive. The schools would arrange a more social gathering, party and tour that would become prominent in the future, and many children would get engaged in these activities. Parents would become more conscious to nurture the hidden talents among their kids, and that's why they would take them to different places to let them experience the world. What kind of pressure do children have at school? From my experience, I can say that children nowadays have more classes to attend, more homeworks to do and more exam to take. From this regards, the children are burdened with the extended syllabus and lot of homeworks. Many schools even make the project works and day-long classes mandatory, and as a result, today's children are under a lot of pressure. What is your view of the school of the future? I am pretty sure in future schools would become more interactive and interesting than it is now. Computer-based lessons and online exams would become the main trend of the education system, and most of the schools would adopt the technology. Besides, they would focus on practical lessons than all theoretical study, and finally the teachers would be more skilled to handle the children in schools. Schools would focus on nurturing the potential talents of children and thus would develop more extracurricular activities to offer to the children. What are the differences of watching movies and reading books? A movie is an audio-visual presentation while a book is a composition of written words. They are both great sources of entertainment and knowledge. However, Reading a book, in my opinion, is more effective than watching a movie. A great number of actors, as well as producer, screenwriter, director and other staffs, are required to finally produce a movie, while the book is the printed version of the writing of a writer. Movies present a story using different actors and actress, and the acting is captured using a camera and then finally edited before releasing, while the books are mainly printed after being edited and corrected. We can watch movies with others, but we usually read books alone. Movies are the sources of easy entertainment, and people naturally love to watch movies as a pure source of entertainment, although there are numerous movies that have deep underlying themes and lessons. On the contrary, most books enhance the knowledge and imagination power of readers and preferred by book lovers only. Which one is more powerful? Why? In my opinion, books are more powerful. A book is aimed to deliver a story, lesson, and is a great source of information. Reading books enhance our knowledge, imagination, and our horizon of wisdom. Most of the books are packed with the experience and imagination of writers and are the witness of history and time. Reading books are far better in terms of enhancing knowledge, in my opinion. While watching a movie, we mainly concentrate on the story and visual presentation of it. That gives us pure entertainment, but in terms of provoking our brain, it is less effective than reading books. Books present us words, and with this a hypothetical world that we need to imagine in our mind. In the case of movies, things are already seen, there is a little scope to use our imagination power. Do you like to watch movies staying at home in television or in a theater? Why? I mostly prefer watching movies at home. I won't say that I do not like watching a movie in a movie theater, but at home, I have more control on what movie to watch and when. I can even change the movie if I find it boring, but I do not have this option in a movie theater. With the advancement of technology and internet, we have now large smart TVs that offer the almost similar experience that we can have in a theater. How can movies help up to shape our society? Movies reach to a large segment of people in a society, and people often watch movies. Thus the movie can be an effective media for entertainment as well as tools for changing our society for the better. A good movie that focuses on the pressing issues of a society can create awareness of the problem and can also suggest some solutions. If movies are based on real events and historical facts, people would learn about their history and past that might help them to become better citizens. Movie actors and actresses are quite popular in many societies, and they can pass moral lessons to their fans. Movies reflect the society and the people as a whole, and thus have a great influence to shape the mentality of the people. It is not unusual that people would try to mimic the personality, behavior, costumes of their famous actors, and movie producers can use this as a positive tool to foster a better new generation. Do you think what children see on TV affects their behavior? Yes, I agree with the notion that children get affected from the TV programs they watch. Children learn things very fast, and TV programs have a great influence on shaping their behavior, thinking and attitude. I remember mimicking my favorite cartoon heroes when I was a child, and that is, in fact, true for all human beings. Children's psychology catches the things they see and listen. And that's why they are likely to be affected positively as well as negatively from the TV programs they watch. In your opinion, do children watch too much TV? I don't think that children nowadays watch too much TV. Though they like watching cartoons and other TV programs a lot, the parents often forbid them to watch TV too much. Due to the pressure of study and with the easy access to computer games, children nowadays do not have the scope and interest to watch TV all the time. But I would agree that there must be many children who watch it more than they should. Do you think there are too many foreign films on TV? Why? I think people nowadays have satellite connection with channels from different countries, and that's why they have plenty of options to watch movies made in foreign countries. The globalization has also contributed to promoting the foreign movies, and many people prefer to watch Hollywood movies over their local movies. So I would agree that there are too many foreign movies on TV, but it's also true that a viewer always has the chance to watch movies made in his/her own country. Should the government control what we watch? I think in this era of democracy and free speech it would be a bad idea for any government to try to control or impose a restriction on our TV viewing activity. First of all, the government would have to face a huge criticism and pressure from citizens. Second, a democratic government should never try to impose this on the citizens, as that would make them act like an autocratic government. However, if a particular TV channel broadcasts any program that might be offensive for the country and its tradition, too much violent and uncensored, I would opine that the government can ban this channel. In short, I would say the control should be for the people's benefit and to control any possible conflict, but not to take away people's freedom. Google matched content. What is your future plan? I never have a specific future plan. Instead of thinking about future, I believe it's better to focus on the present. In terms of the future plan, I want to lead my life happily and to have an honest life. What do you do in your leisure time? Usually, I spend my free time by reading books, using the internet, enjoying movies and listening music. Sometimes I hang out with my close friends. How politicians help make the world a better place. Politicians are in the leading roles in a country. They are obliged to prepare a roadmap for the nation and also provide direction to other parts like the economy, administration, improvement and infrastructure development of a country. Though not all politicians are honest, the world has still got many politicians who sacrifice their life for the betterment of the nations. They make better policy to run the country, they protest unjust, they sacrifice their personal life and make the nations prosperous. What qualities a good leader should have in your opinion? A good leader is always honest. He will think and work for others and would not be tempted by any forces or pressure. He should have a clear vision. He could give direction to other members. He is an observer, mentor, evaluator and guide for others. What do the people mostly do in their leisure time in your country? We have a large country with a large population from different ethnicities and cultures. Their leisure activities thus vary to a great extent. Leisure activities among the city dwellers and villagers are not same also. But commonly people go outside for shopping, to meet friends, to watch movies in their leisure time. Many people walk in the morning and evening and also visit relatives and friends. Young generation mostly prefers to hang out with their friends and use the internet in their leisure time. There are some sports lovers as well who mostly play different outdoor sports in their leisure time. What's the difference between holidays today and 5 years ago and the reasons for the change? 5 years back, people were not much concerned about their holidays. But now, people give more importance for their holidays, especially in planning stage. In addition, in the past people spent maximum 1 or 2 days for holidays. At present, 1 week is considered as a minimum span of time for holidays. The selection holiday destinations have also changed. Do you think people will spend more time on leisure or working in the future? In terms of time, working hours would be far more than the time spent in leisure activities in the future. But people will be more conscious about the importance of having thoughtful and p. Would you recommend that book to anyone? Why? Yes, definitely. This, in my opinion, is one of the best books I have ever read, and it was highly appreciated by the critics and it has a very good rating. It has an important lesson and it is a fast-paced book. So I would recommend this book as a must-read. What types of books are popular among children and adults in your country? Children mostly read academic books. Apart from that, they read fairy tales, detective books and adventurous stories mostly. On the other hand, the reading lists among adults vary a great deal, ranging from romantic, political, historical, adventurous, horror, etc. What are the impacts of modern life on reading? I think modern life hasn't influenced to the contrary of reading habits. It provided some other potential sources for reading. It is easy to purchase books, get detailed reviews and track the reading using the latest technology, and book lovers are still present in our society as they were in the past generations. Some would say that we don't have time to read books as we lead a busy life. But I won't agree with that, as I still see many people read books when they are waiting in the line, waiting for someone in a cafe. So interested readers always find times no matter how much busy they are. Between books or movies, which one in better and why? I like both books and movies. They are not alternative to each other. Rather, they both have their own appealing. In terms of serious learning and knowledge, books are better. In terms of visual presentation and entertainment and easy learning, movies are far better. While a book enhances the imagination and creativity of a reader, movies present events and stories more vividly. In my opinion, both are equally important, and I personally like both of them. What are the problems faced by illiterate people in the society? It is a big problem not to be able to read and write nowadays. In most of the cases, they are not socially respected. Without the education, they can't enjoy the world known to the literate people. They need to rely on others for such matters, including reading a letter written by a family member. They might be deceived easily as they never know what's been written. They can't write to their dearest person and can't read the extraordinary stories others can read and enjoy. Shopping and market. Do people in your country enjoy going to open-air markets that sell things like food or clothes or old objects? Which type of market is more popular? Why? Thank you for allowing me to answer this important question. The number of open-air markets in Australia is limited, and in fact, there are no such notable markets at all where people could go for a large-scale shopping. Most of the people prefer visiting the shopping malls, and even they get their everyday stuff from the shopping malls. Shopping malls are more popular than the open-air markets, though few in number, as the shopping malls are located at convenient places with modern amenities. Besides, the shopping malls also provide with the quality products. But sometimes, the people who go out for evening walk prefer to have some light snacks or foods from the roadside vendors at the open-air markets. The foods sold there are healthy and tasty too. Do you think markets are more suitable places for selling certain types of things? Which ones? Why do you think this is? Yup. I think the markets are suitable for trading certain types of things, and I think electronic gadgets and equipment are most suited for this purpose. For instance, if you need to buy a computer or a cellular phone, you need to go to a market where you will have several options and price range. Besides, purchasing the electronic gadgets from the market is also beneficial to some extent, that you are having the intact product or some quality product. The stuff you are buying must have some sort of guarantees. But if you purchase the things from an individual, you are expected not to get the quality product in exchange for your payment. The individual may sell a defective product, and importantly, there are no guarantees or warranties in this case. So, I think it is better to get such things from markets. Do you think young people feel the same about shopping at markets as older people? Why is that? Well, I disagree with the statement to many extents. Usually, the older people and the younger have some differences regarding the selection of necessary items. The older people are matured and skilled in shopping. So, they feel something different. They feel that they should have something durable and the product must be of a standard quality. On the other point, the young people are immature and they do not think deeply about the items they are going to have or buy. When they buy the required items, they, in fact, do not think about the quality or durability of the product. Instead, they think how important the product is and seek if there are any alternative to the product, as if that particular product gets damaged in some way, they could replace that. But when they grow older, their thoughts get changed to the great level and feel heartbreaking with their past experiences. This is natural and happens for the age difference with the matured people. What do you think are the advantages of buying things from shops rather than markets? This is a critical question. However, I think certainly there are some advantages of shops than the markets. Usually, you will have the chance to bargain with the shopkeeper about the price and may negotiate over any specific price. But in markets, there are no such chances of bargaining. The prices of almost all the products are fixed. Besides, you have the chance to pick the products by yourself, and by this way one can get the comparatively good products. But in markets, there are some sales assistants who will help you in the selection and sometimes may serve you with defective products without informing you about the disadvantages. One more important thing, if the shopkeeper is in your locality, you may get occasional help from him/her. For instance, the shopkeeper may lend you any product and you will pay back later. But you cannot imagine such a flexible system in a market. How does advertising influence what people choose to buy? Is this true for everyone? The advertisement has many things to do to influence people, but in the current days, the scenario has been changed. The people are not that much influenced with the advertisement. Rather, they rely on their own experience. But the importance of advertisement should be acknowledged. Once it was the advertisement which helped to direct the people to have their necessary products, and with the change of time people are not picking their own products by their past experiences. On the other side, it should also be acknowledged that the advertised products are not always better and may prove ineffective as well. So, the idea about relying on advertisement has been changed a lot. When people buy a product by being influenced with the advertisement and get cheated, they never buy the product and discourage others as well from keeping away from that specific product. Do you think that any recent changes in the way people live have affected general shopping trends? Yes, there have been slight changes in the shopping trends. The world is moving faster, and hence emerged the issue of e-commerce. It refers to commercial activities in electronic manners. Millions of virtual shops have appeared, and many of the people are visiting the virtual stores for their needs. They are browsing the online stores, websites decorated with product images, and placing orders, paying through online payment system, and the products are being delivered at their home shortly. But this happens for some specific products, and still people like to visit the market and shops to get their desired products.